You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the August 2025 regular council meeting for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. I'm Florence Mitchell. Today's meeting begins with a presentation by the St. George Animal Shelter. Under new business, Council will move to give bylaw EC 15 regarding mayoral reporting for the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission, its first reading by title and its second reading in its entirety if applicable. Council will also move to award a contract for tender 2025-04 for Blacks Harbor Sewage Lagoon dredging, and to authorize the transfer of funds from the Blacks Harbor Utility Capital Reserve Fund to support the project. Now let's join Council at Macadavic Place in St. George.
I will now call the meeting to order here at 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place in St. George. Good evening and welcome to the regular council meeting of Eastern Charlotte for the month of August. Welcome all those who are attending tonight and those who are watching us on TV or on their cell phones. And I want to thank CHCO for being here tonight. Their cameraman, Dawson Hatt, right here. Dawson is going to do a good job. And Florence Mitchell's in the back. And of course, Vicky Hogarth, the star of the CHCOs up front here. So it's nice to have everybody here tonight. Councillor Hatt sends his regrets for tonight. He's still recovering from his motorcycle accident. And Councillor Tidd is not here as well tonight. At this point, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Thompson? I need a seconder for that. Councillor Lee? Any questions or comments on adopting the agenda as presented tonight? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Conflict of interest, this is your opportunity to disclose any conflict of interest. This is your opportunity to do so. If not, we move on to number 4, the adoption of the minutes. We have a whole bunch of minutes here, but I'm going to go to Councillor Lee.
I move to approve the minutes as circulated to members of councils for July 16th, 2025, regular meeting of council, July the 22nd, 2025, committee of the whole, August the 2nd, 2025, committee of the whole.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder, Deputy Mayor. Question or a comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Flying right along. Business arising out of the minutes, there are none tonight. That brings us to delegations. And delegations, we have the St. George Animal Shelter tonight. And I just ask you to come right over here where the microphone is, and the camera can pick you up pretty good if you'd like to speak. This is being televised all across Canada, is it? Okay, all across Canada. So don't be nervous. It's great to have the animal shelter here because I really enjoy the animal shelter. We're very fortunate to have it here. I know Councillor Lee is close to his heart as well too. So we hear there's good news.
All right, thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor and members of the Eastern Charlotte Council and everyone who's attending tonight and watching from home. My name is Rebecca Eldridge. I sit on the board for the St. George Animal Shelter, and I'm here with Sherry Gallagher Eldridge, who is also on the board, president of our board, doubles as my stepmother. We would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today about the upcoming initiatives that our organization is working on that we feel are really vital to our community and to the welfare of its most vulnerable members. So for anyone who's unfamiliar, the St. George Animal Shelter is a nonprofit, low-kill shelter that started as a very small foster network in 2018. We are a registered charity, and we are entirely volunteer-run with a dedicated board of directors who put in a lot of hours on a weekly basis. Our mission is to promote animal welfare for the benefit of the public by rescuing stray, abandoned, or surrendered animals, spaying and neutering them, providing medical care and appropriate shelter, operating an adoption program, and promoting responsible animal care in the community. Since our inception, our volunteers have helped over 2,500 animals find new homes. So the animals that come to our shelter come for a variety of reasons. They may have been abandoned, lost, or surrendered due to economic circumstances. And the number of animals that have come through our doors each year has actually increased by over 30% since 2023. So there's more and more every year. We're currently serving St. George, St. Andrews, St. Stephen, Penfield, Grand Manan, Deer Island, and Campobello Island. And we have also recently encompassed the St. John area as all of their shelters are now full. We have no physical space of our own to actually house these animals, so it is an interesting endeavor right now. We are running a full-time operation within the St. George Veterinary Clinic, which is also expanding and is going to start requiring the space that they've been so generous to loan us over the last couple of years. So most of our cats are in foster care, with the exception of the few that are at the vet clinic, but we don't have enough fosters to meet the incoming demand of cats and dogs either. We've provided care for a few dogs here and there, but again, with no physical space to keep them, they typically require foster care or housing in a separate facility through one of our partners. However, other facilities are again also full, so they're unable to accept a lot of the animals that we've seen in these circumstances. So in 2025, we launched our Almost Home capital campaign. Dr. Melanie Egan of the St. George Vet Clinic has donated 14 acres of land here up behind the vet clinic that you can see, this nice little cleared out area, to help build a permanent shelter. So we are now going to be located at 12 Paw Print Lane. And with help from the community, we're really hoping to get our new building built by late fall of this year. So let me paint you a picture. You walk up a paw print stamped path to a clean, inviting, and welcoming building. As you enter the reception area, you can already hear the happy sounds of a shelter that feels like a home. Children are learning about animal welfare in the multi-purpose event room, and you can see a staff member feeding popsicles to a dog as part of the session. The cats are contentedly preening in their windows, watching birds at the feeders just outside. There's an outdoor catio where they can play and mingle with visitors, providing them with the physical and mental stimulation that we know they need. Outside, there's a large green space for our dogs to be exercised daily. You can see the current floor plans of our new shelter here. This is the vision that we have for the new St. George Animal Shelter. It will provide a welcoming environment for community members to gather, to learn, and to volunteer. It will also be a place that inspires hope, compassion, and lifelong bonds between animals and families. Some of our renderings of our inside. So as a nonprofit, our capital campaigns and fundraising events are essential for large-scale projects like building our new shelter. However, the day-to-day work of caring for animals and running the facility requires a different side of support, or a different kind of support, stable and predictable funding for operating costs, which is truly difficult in the nonprofit world, as anyone knows who's ever worked in this space. So this is the difference between building a house and keeping the lights on. So our significant operational expenses include things like covering spay and neuter surgeries, vaccinations, emergency treatments, and ongoing care for sick and injured animals, food and litter, bedding, enrichment toys, and other costs that are essential for the health and well-being of all the animals in our care. So with the new building, we also aim to hire a shelter manager on a full-time basis and potentially some support staff if funding allows. A new facility also means higher costs for electricity, water, heating, and general maintenance, which ensures a clean, safe, and comfortable environment for both our animals and our future staff. So with that, we are asking the members of Eastern Charlotte for their support in 2026 as we advance through the end of our building campaign to support with our operational expenses. As we know, it's going to be a lot more than what we're used to since we haven't had a bricks and mortar building over the last couple of years. So we're in heavy fundraising mode right now. We're trying to make as many partnerships as we can. And we are appealing to all of Eastern Charlotte and the St. John area for your support. So we believe that our new shelter is going to be more than just a building. We think it's going to be a vital community asset. We feel that an investment in our shelter isn't just about saving animals, it's about strengthening the fabric of our community, one adoption at a time. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to council at this point to see if they have any questions or comments.
The package that you have in front of you as well is our sponsorship package for the capital campaign. So we're currently looking at 2026 to try to get more long-term funding coming in, but we're still not quite at our goal for the capital campaign either. So we are happy with any support that the community is willing to provide.
Great. Need some more online auctions.
Yes.
Working on it.
I tell you, when I go into the veterinary clinic, It's all my willpower not to walk out with 2 or 3 kittens.
I know.
We try to make sure that happens.
Thank you very much for coming tonight, and your story will be on CHCO, so it'll be on YouTube, so everybody will be able to see it. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
At this point, Council, we have department reports, and I'll go to the 7A, which is the general government report, and I'll go to our CAO, Jason Cadet.
Thank you, Your Worship. General government report for the month of July. Water, wastewater, the water tower cleaning in Blacks Harbor was completed on August the 8th. Phase 2 project for Blacks Harbor is underway on Globe. That's to deal with with addressing the water issues and water upgrades for Blacks Harbor. We have received confirmation of 40% of the funding from the province for Phase 2. Though there has been a request to the province to increase the assistance to 50 to 60%. I believe as of right now, they're remaining at 40%. So we'll need to make up an additional $65,000 on top of the $25,000 that council's already committed to Phase 2. So we are working on that and looking at some options. CBCL is working on the St. George Sewage Lagoon, part of an IBA project. Awaiting water samples from industry and working with them on just getting some figures as well. We do have on the council agenda tonight the tendering for desludging of the Blacks Harbor Lagoon, which closed on August the 8th. Housing and development, the Brunswick Street St. George apartment building developer is planning on presenting an updated plan to council at the end of the month, end of September by. Still awaiting confirmation on when he's going to be back here from British Columbia. Awaiting return of the development agreement from the developer at Hillside Subdivision. Final plans, drawings should be received in mid-August, so we're still waiting on those. Several properties in Blacks Harbor being reviewed for an RFP in September. Include several return properties that did not receive development. Childcare funding engineering is working on test pits and geotechnical report. Schematic designs and cost estimates received from Boyd Murdoch. Certainly, right now we're looking at some discussion along with the YMCA with RDC, just on really how much money they're willing to commit. I guess that's really the next big question that we have is just how much money the province is willing to commit for childcare in this area. We've seen some really good figures up front, but we have not really received any true commitment to them as of yet. But YMCA is in talks right now. Public Works, paving of Granite Street, southern portion of Campbell Hill Road, Brunswick Street, the upper bridge to the elementary school is planned for late September. Public Works completed some trail repairs and brush cutting. Construction work is ongoing for Public Works building in Blacks Harbor, and several vehicles are at the end of their life. We have 3 vehicles that are at the end of their life, which we did have some meetings with some council members there today to sort of put a path forward on replacing those assets. Parks and Recreation, the shelter, market shelter at the Riverside Park should be completed. It is now completed. We're just waiting for some power to be put in there and some additional landscaping work to be completed. We're looking at a grand opening at the Riverside Park in September. Kara is working on some dates and some live music. Still awaiting the return of the fencing company to complete work here at the Macadavic Center for the generator outside and to get the courts in Blacks Harbor, have those fenced in as well and lined as well. Also, we will continue to complete groundwork and the reinstallation of the playground in Blacks Harbor. We took the playground from Main Street and moved it to the area next to the new courts. It'll be moved there. So we'll be putting in some of the material that some of the fixtures that we were able to salvage from the old playground. There's some that just were beyond their life, but we're going to be looking at the finances once we're done the fencing, once we're done some improvements of heating inside the arena, and then we'll look at seeing if we have some funding left over to add some new fixtures at the playground and blocks. Ongoing repairs at the arena in preparation for the season, and installation of the ice in September. The tender is being finalized. I was hoping to have it out this week. We're just waiting for a few things there. And the Service Commission is leading the wildfire resiliency plan The application has been submitted to the province. I'm just waiting for approval on that. The review of medical calls, increased calls is ongoing, and certainly some discussion that we've had with council, looking at just the reasons for some of those increases. Dangerous and unsightly properties. One of the 2 demolitions have been completed on the open files. The other ones should be completed within the next couple of weeks. Several new files are going to be coming to council as well. We do have one file that's in the Back Bay area that was sort of postponed for a bit, so that will be coming back to council for a decision in the next month or 2. Finance and HR, we're exploring changes to the payroll system. We have a payroll system that's based off of a very small, very lightly used accounting system. So we're looking at doing some upgrades to our payroll system just to make it a lot easier. HR is working on a training certification matrix, as well as an HRM, human resource management, and work order interface. We are working with the Service Commission. They're preparing their budget, but we are also working with the Service Commission on looking at a replacement for our accountant. Many people know Mark Porter has been in the municipal accounting world for decades and decades, and he is retiring in 2026, and so we're looking at some options there, so how that we can bring an accountant that can serve both Eastern Charlotte as well as the Service Commission. Staffing, Joey Cook has been hired for Parks and Recreation, and we're just finalizing our discussion, pretty much finalized this week with hiring of our project manager, economic development, and everything looks good there, so we should have that person. We should be able to announce that in the next meeting, who that person is, and have them in place for the next meeting, so we'll probably even be at the next meeting for an introduction. So that is the general government report.
Great, thank you, Jason. Any questions or comments? Councilor Dederackis, you first.
A question for our CAO. So months ago, we had a presentation by OnGlobe in Blacks Harbor. It was a public meeting, and they produced a timeline of all these things that had to be done between now and what was I can't remember from the top of my head the final date, and it also illustrated like who was responsible for what. Is there any way that the municipality can actually post that online?
Yeah, we can get an updated report.
Just so
from
everyone,
them.
because obviously
Yeah.
not all the residents of Blacks Harbor were able to actually attend that meeting, so
Right.
it would, I think that'd be really useful.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and
So
the,
their presentations. would
yeah,
go-
their presentation, but also that specifically that, a timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other question I had was, a couple months ago, I had a question about the RSC for tourism. We haven't really got much of an update on that. Is there any way we could organize a meeting with them?
We can certainly, we can ask for the Service Commission to come down. There has been some changes there, some staff restructuring at the Service Commission for the interim. The CEO, Hollis Bartlett, has taken over that area of tourism for now. And we ourselves within the office, I mean, we've heard numerous times from councils not really liking the fact that Eastern Charlotte was divided, and Chris McKinnon was able to put off a letter to the Service Commission explaining that, all the other municipalities are all together, so we'd like to see that combined, and they are following through with that to bring Eastern Charlotte back instead of a north and south type of
Yeah.
region. So that's happening, and if anything, I think just more recently we've seen a lot more communication coming from the Service Commission to the municipality on promotion and tourism. Just today, they were asking, the province was asking about some of our upcoming events for the fall, which we'd never really had seen before. So but we can still bring them down and see really, especially what's coming up in the next year or so as far as their regional tourism initiatives. So, yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions for Jason? If not, I'm going to go to the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission report, and Jason's going to give that tonight. Alex wasn't available tonight.
The Building and Planning and Enforcement report prepared by Alex Henderson, Planning Director of the Service Commission. So rezoning bylaw for commercial development off Poorhouse Hill has been approved with council's terms and conditions and sent to the Land Registry Office. PRAC approved terms and conditions for development of a tourism use, glamping domes at 48 Lovett Head Road in accordance with the Fundy Bay planning area rural plan, and staff's working with the developer to ensure all approvals are in place. PRAC will consider a variance application by Alexander Wilkins to develop 2 additional dwellings at 120 Mount Pleasant Road, altogether in 1 lot, in support of continuation of a farm operation on the property in the agriculture forestry zone of the Fundy Bay Planning Area Rural Plan. The regulation permits one or more than 1 dwelling in an AF zone, with the variance is required due to specific planning standards. PRAC will provide views to council on the Clarington Street extension subdivision plan, and I guess just for council's knowledge, that's the extension of Carlton Street with the property that we're acquiring from the cemetery. Development updates: 60 building and demolition or development permits approved in 2025 to date. 17 new permits issued in the last month. Total construction value to Eastern Charlotte to date in 2025 is $5.6 million. 11 tentative subdivision plans approved, 1 new subdivision plan with 4 parcels approved in the last month. 8 zoning confirmation letters to date, 2 new in report period. 23 net new homes, apartments, units permitted to date in 2025, no new in this reporting period. 2 variances, terms and conditions approved, granted year to date, 1 new in the reporting period. As far as enforcement, 4 new enforcement files opened in the last month and 26 since the beginning of 2025 under the Community Planning Act, Building Code, Administration Act, and the Dangerous Unsightly Bylaw. And that's the plan.
Okay. Just to add to that, the directors are working on next year's budget, and they'll be voting on releasing it to the public next week. If that passes, I'll have the CEO, Hollis Bartlett, attend a Tuesday evening meeting with council to answer any questions on it. I did that last year, and it worked out very well, and Hollis is very willing to come and do that. Right now, I would say, without releasing any details, because I'm not allowed to release any details yet, but it's looking like substantial reduction for all municipalities next year. So that is good news, that you're going to see some big numbers coming down next year. So it's going to be a big savings for all the, not just for Eastern Charlotte, but all the municipalities. And the work has begun to replace Mark Porter on the directors are working on that as well, as Jason has spoke on. And I spoke to Hollis Bartlett yesterday, and he believes he's going to be starting a monthly newsletter, and that'll be starting probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. And that's all the reports of the service commissions. Any questions or comments on that? If not, we'll move ahead to the fire report, and I'll call on Councillor Thompson.
The fire report for Eastern Charlotte Fire Rescue for July 2025. They had a total of 59 calls, 8 fire calls, 8 mutual aid calls, 2 false alarms, 3 training sessions, 21 medical calls. I'd like to have sincere condolences passed to the family of Hibberry for his years of service in Eastern Charlotte. Thank you from our community. And thank you for the volunteers and the help with the Summerfest. Thank you.
Great. Any questions or comments on the fire report? If not, we'll move ahead to the, I believe, Parks and Recreation. Eastern Charlotte Recreation Complex, shutdown and ice removal had been complete. This is last month. Painting and general maintenance is being completed throughout the building. They're acquiring quotes for upgrades needed in the mechanical room. Summer safety inspections, sprinkler fire protection are completed. Simcoe is scheduled for reseal of the condenser tower. Paving for the basketball, ball hockey courts are completed, and now waiting for quotes for fencing, P-stone for the playground portion. They're getting prices for new basketball nets and playground equipment. Parking lot painting, the parking lot painting has been completed. Wi-Fi boosters have been installed, and cameras quoted for streaming the ice service live as well too. Repairs to lighting over the ice service, and the Zamboni had its off-season service done by Saunders Equipment. Ice paint for 25-26 season has been ordered. Canal Beach and the ball fields and the splash pads, Riverside Park, the playgrounds, the community gardens, and the Summerfest has kept the Parks and Recreation very busy. Is there any questions or comments on that report? Oh, you have a question or a comment?
I guess just for the public, our walking trails do remain closed as part of the wildfire alert with the province, and Till we do have some fair amount of rain, we'll continue to monitor them. We do have every other day there's a call with the province just on the status of the wildfire situation in the province. So as soon as they sort of give the all clear to Crown Lands, then we can certainly reevaluate the walking trails. I know we've heard back from many residents and that use the walking trails every day. We certainly apologize for having them to shut them down, but I think overall just the regional safety is the utmost important.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll move on to committee reports. Any committee reports tonight? Councilor Dadrekas, you're next.
So the St. George Beautification Committee will be meeting, is set for Monday, September 9th. If council or anyone in the public has any ideas or suggestions that would help beautify this part of Eastern Charlotte, just forward it to myself or anyone else that's on the committee. The other update is for Age Friendly Committee. The committee is raising money to help with carrying out our mandate through a gift basket with goodies and a 2-night Airbnb with which one committee member graciously donated. So far, we've raised $380, and the draw is for September 1st. We reached out to the local fire group with a proposal, and we'll invite the chief to our first meeting on September 8th. We submitted an application to the Southwest New Brunswick Regional Resiliency Committee for building capacity for emergency preparedness in Eastern Charlotte. This is a over $9,000 initiative led by the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte and the Age Friendly Advisory Committee to strengthen rural emergency preparedness among seniors. Sharon Travis, who is the committee chair, is working on another grant due in September. And I do have a question for our CAO. Just checking about the status of the signage on sidewalks for public washrooms.
Yeah, those we're waiting for a sign order yet to come in. Once that usually clears, then we order the next sign order. But so we'll just have to as well try to review placement when we do go through with that sign order of where we're going to put the signage on the streets. So because I guess we're looking at the J.O. Spinney outdoor washrooms that are here. Just had to direct the traffic from Main Street into this area. So
Yeah, because when council approved this 3-year plan, council said that council said that they would take care of the washroom signage on the street. So really, you think that realistically, this is something that's going to be done next year? Or can it be done this year?
it can be done this year, yeah. Just with our next sign order, we'll probably get our sign order coming in next week. And then typically what we do is then we order another, we put a whole other sign together. So that's what we've been waiting for. So I think it was requested by members of the committee fairly recently. So once we get into that of actually ordering the signs, then we'll look at where the placement is. So we may just need a little bit of input from the members of the committee of where they'd like to see those at and how they fit in with traffic.
Okay.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay, that brings us to financial statement. I need a motion tonight to accept the financial reports for July 2025. Councillor Lee. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on that? All those in favor of accepting the financial reports for July 2025 signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. New business tonight, we have a draft bylaw EC-15, the mayoral, that's a hard word to say, mayoral SNBSE reporting bylaw. I need a motion for a first reading by title only. And Councillor Dedrex.
Okay. I would like to make an amendment on the bylaw itself, though. Maybe, Your Worship, you could walk me through how to do that?
I don't have it in the bylaw.
Sure, just-
Do you have it?
Just make the motion
Yeah,
with
just
the
make- yeah,
amendment?
yeah.
Okay. So be it resolved that council accept the first reading only by title only of bylaw EC-15 mayoral SMB-SC reporting with the amendment of, in section 3, under duties of mayor regarding SNB-SC meetings, to amend, let me get that portion up, to amend in 3-1, to amend any to, so any, and specifically I'm saying to regular board meetings or annual general meetings of the service, yeah, that's what I would amend. I'm just being more specific. Does that make sense?
Any general meetings and?
Yeah, so I'm amending it so it's,
I don't have it in the bylaw in front of me.
so to substitute, so the actual line, if council has it all in front of them. So the full sentence that we have in front of us, 3-1, I'm being specific. So the mayor shall provide a verbal or written summary report of any regular board meetings or annual general meeting, AGM, of SNBSC attended the capacity of a voting member within 30 days of the meeting date. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Councillor McKay, question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously.
Have no discussion.
Second reading for the same bylaw. I need a motion for that if you'd like to move ahead.
I'll just say, Your Worship, there just be bylaw number EC-05, the bylaw respecting mayoral reporting and communications of Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. So just second reading will be in its entirety. Their copy will be made available on the website and for hard copies at the town hall as well. Yep.
Okay, we have I need a motion for the second reading. Councillor McKay. I just need you to read it out. So, I'm sorry.
So be it resolved that council accept the second reading in its entirety by law, EC-115, mayoral SNB-SC reporting with the amendment.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, we move on to 10B, which is results for the tender 2504 Black Cyber Sewage Lagoon dredging. I need a motion that council award the contract for tender 25 Black Cyber Sewage Lagoon dredging to Clean Harbors. If that's the way, I'm not, there's different motions here, but I'll entertain a motion. Jason, you want to go first?
So this is the 25-04 Black Harbor Sewage Lagoon dredging. So this, unlike the previous one, there was changes to the volumes and weights of the previous the lagoon that came to council that wasn't accepted. So went back, retendered this with the change of those volumes. So bids were opened 2 p.m. on August the 8th at the municipal office by staff of Eastern Charlotte and read aloud. Tender proposals were received for dredging the sewage lagoons in Black Harbor. Both lagoons are at limit capacity, and dredging will free up space in the lagoons. Due to the previous tendering not being awarded, a new tender was completed and issued, reflecting a 10% increase in waste volumes. The following proposals were submitted and received with the corresponding bids before HST. Clean Harbors with $588,589.13. GFL, $657,182.81. No other submissions were received. The project advisor for the project was Glenn Porter. He has an attached letter for council as well regarding the received bids. Funding for this work will be completed using the Black Harbor Utility Fund. And if council wishes to award one of these, we'd be looking for a motion to allocate those funds. And it is my recommendation that Clean Harbors is awarded the contract for the sewage lagoon dredging.
Great. Council's pleasure. Councilor Lee.
Be it resolved that council award the contract for tender 2025-04 BH Sewage Lagoon dredging to Clean Harbors for the amount of $588,589.13.
13 cents. Right on. I need a seconder for that. Okay. Deputy Mayor? Question or comment on the motion? No questions or comments on over $500,000? No? None? None? Okay.
So I guess the only thing I'll add is that the dredging will be removed from Black Harbor. It does go to a certified designation area.
Oh, we don't bring it over to St. George?
No, we don't.
Oh,
We won't be staying on site. I know some people have asked because what's going on in Lancaster, West Side, St. John is they're basically do much the same thing, but they're keeping a lot of that on site and dewatering, but all the sludge will be removed from the area and trucked away. So,
Good. Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. Okay, that brings us to 10B1. This is the how we have to pay for this. I need a motion. I'm going to transfer money. Jason, do you want to speak on this first?
Thank you, Worship. So we do have a fairly healthy, up to this point, we've had a fairly healthy Blacks Harbor Utility Capital Reserve, which has been in place. Most of the industry has been paying really a supplement with their wastewater, and really to get to this point, without this healthy reserve would be in a difficult situation of $500,000 and how to pay for it. But I certainly applaud the previous Village of Blacks Harbor councils and staff for coming up with the agreement with industry so that there are some surcharges. Eventually get to this day where we have to pay for this, and certainly some good foresight there. So it is coming from the Blacks Harbor Utility Capital Reserve that was just for the Blacks Harbor Utility. It does leave a fair amount. I think we have just around $1 million in that utility reserve, and certainly as we continue to go forward with a lot of the other needs on the water side with the utility, I'm sure that will come in very handy as well. But it's an unfortunate thing that you have to go through and desludge. But if we don't do this, the lagoons will continue to build up. But we do have a healthy reserve.
So, Councilor McKay.
Be it resolved that council authorize the transfer of $613,816.06 from the Blacks Harbor Utility Capital Reserve Fund to the Blacks Harbor Utility Capital Fund to be used for the Blacks Harbor Sewage Lagoon dredging project.
Great, and I need a seconder for that. Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on that motion? Councilor McKay, you got a question? You made the motion, now you got a question.
Yeah, now I have a question. No, I just want to know, how long does this desludging last? Like, how often does this have to be done?
Good question.
Yeah, it shouldn't be done. Sometimes you don't have to do it for decades, depending on how well your lagoon is working. So in this case, Blacks Harbor, it really was just taking a lot of waste, and the lagoon really wasn't able to basically break it down and to dissolve it. So that's the reason why there was an agreement with the Village of Blacks Harbor and industry to sort of help pay for this when the time does come. But, for example, St. George Industry Lagoon, we've not desludged that probably in 15, almost 20 years. So, as long as it's working properly, lagoons are sort of almost like a living, breathing pond, and sometimes you don't have to do them for years. So,
I have one question. Am I allowed to ask a question? I'm going to ask a question. Since I'm running the meeting, I'm going to run we authorized the transfer of $613,000, but the actual project was $588,000.
yeah, it was before taxes on that, so there'd be an HST component to that.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
I just saw the big difference in numbers there. Really big numbers. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Councilor Lee.
Just one for Jason, please. So would you say this was prematurely mismanaged and filled up?
Yeah, I mean, whether it's mismanaged, there was obviously knowing that the waste that was going in there was some very heavy waste, which is not typical. All of our industries typically will give us an agreed like BODs and loading. And, when you surpass that, then yes, the lagoons have to be prematurely dealt with. So in this case it was, but I guess, thankfully they knew this day was going to eventually come and had the agreement. But typically agreements like this, you don't want to really get into that as well, because it does, it's a lot of money to do. And, but we also understand the industry sometimes can't deal with it, part of their own production. Maybe they're limited on how they can deal with it. So agreements like this are not totally unusual.
No. So is there going to be any steps taken to mitigate this problem?
Well, yeah,
or is it,
and that's really, and I think as earlier I mentioned in the report for general government, we're working with some industry in St. George, because a lot of the production that was in Blacks Harbor has come to St. George. And industry is they're willing to put some investment in their local plants here in St. George. so that the waste is very minimal. They didn't really have that option in Blacks Harbor. It was a very aged waste treatment plant that they had. So we're working with them. We're making no agreements to surpass what the agreed numbers are, and so we really won't be looking at an agreement or a premature desludging in St. George. So we're kind of sticking with those numbers. And really, industry at this point has been very good with trying to say, let's achieve those numbers and put some investment in their plant.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Correspondence tonight, Eastern Charlotte Lions Club. Some of them are here, and that's you guys right down back. Hey, how you doing? Nice to have you here tonight. I can read your letter if you save you getting up in front of the camera, but I know you're here tonight, so if the council can ask questions if they like. The Honorable Mayor Craig and councillors, good evening from members of Eastern Charlotte Lions Club, a group very active in events, fundraisers for our local community, Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. We have been Eastern Charlotte for 51 years and very proud to announce in 2024 we celebrate our 50th charter with a well-attended ceremony of dignitaries from communities as well as Lions District N1. Lions District N1, I don't know what that means, but at this time we would like to ask Eastern Charlotte Municipality Mayor and councilors for a beautiful sign displaying our name, Eastern Charlotte Lions Club. We also would like to be recognized and stand out proudly in the community by our municipality. Appreciate your consideration of our request. We believe with the sign displayed, our motto would be more effective. The motto is each one, reach one. Thank you for your time and this opportunity to approach a wonderful group of hardworking members who do so much for our municipality of Eastern Charlotte. And that comes from the treasurer of Lions, Karen Tracy, and she left her phone number there as well, too. Council, what is your pleasure?
I think we should let these ladies come up and say what they were going to say.
You're gonna put them on the spot, ain't you? I could tell they were nervous.
Well, obviously they're prepared, so I think we should give them that.
Oh, absolutely. He did it, I didn't.
I didn't do my makeup today. All right. Good evening, Mayor Craig and all councillors of Eastern Charlotte. My name is Justine Postleet. I'm the Vice President of Eastern Charlotte Lions Club. With me tonight is Sandy Harris. She is the building chairperson for our hall. We're very honored to be here to present to you a request of a sign displaying our name for all to see as Eastern Charlotte Lions Club. We've had the opportunity to remain active in the community of Eastern Charlotte and bearing the name for 51 years. Mayor Craig, you told us to bring our request to Jason Gadet, and attention has been done so. We contacted as well a few of the honorable councillors to see how we could be directed in this request. Honorable Mayor Craig, we have been a club since April 1st of 1985, registered as Eastern Charlotte Community Center, Inc., owned and operated by Eastern Charlotte Lions Club members, a nonprofit organization. We deserve to be recognized in the municipality of Eastern Charlotte and very willing to pay for half the price. Thank you for your time in hearing us this evening. We also have the certificate of registration showing that we've been in Eastern Charlotte Inc. since 1985 as well, if you need that for documentation. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Questions or comments from council to these two young ladies? Councilor Dedrakis, you're first.
So does the Eastern Charlotte Lions Club have a quote or example of what kind of sign they're looking for?
Well, we've seen a lot of the postings of the new fire hall sign, the new community center signs, so we were thinking something along that line, just something to stand out to show what the hall is.
Yeah,
Especially on the old highway, like we don't get a lot of traffic anymore because of the new 4-lane. So, you know, just bringing in some of those tourists to say, hey, okay, here's our Lions Club for Eastern Charlotte.
So, yeah, that sign we got there now, that's been there at least 40 years, if not more. And it doesn't work. They will not fix it because it is a fire hazard. We used to have it lit up and they won't fix it because it's a fire hazard.
Any other questions? Councillor Lee, you have the floor.
So the new sign, will that go right where the old one is, or do you want that somewhere else?
No, we'd like to replace that old sign.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from council? If not, what's the council's pleasure on this tonight? Councillor Lee?
I move the letter from Eastern Charlotte Lions Club be referred to the Finance Committee for review and recommendation.
Do we have a motion on the floor? I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson? Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
You can watch it again later on YouTube.
I would like to present this. It's for the big breakfast at the Lions Club this Saturday.
Ah, right on, advertising. I love it.
On
Yeah.
the site for everybody to see.
Yeah, councillors, you get extra bacon on your.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, at this point is the public presentation of appearances. Please note under bylaw EC-1, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. I ask that you begin by giving your name and civic address for the record. I will also add that during this time, I cannot tolerate or allow anybody to make accusations against anybody or on any subject that works for Eastern Charlotte or any members of council or anybody else for that matter. If that happens, I have to stop you and you have to be escorted out. Anybody just come right forward. Gone once, twice, almost 3.
Hey, you guys all know me. Matthew Hall, Ward 4. I'm here to bring up some more issues. My partner and I frequent the Y, located in Eastern Charlotte Recreational Complex, with our son and his friends to play in a large, safe space with toys he doesn't have access to at home. We all enjoy this opportunity and love the programs the Y offers. While this space is relatively safe for our children, there's a big hazard for speedy toddlers. As you know, they're not good with stairs. These stairs need gates or a way to prevent them from tumbling down the stairs. We've been told numerous times that the fire marshal isn't allowing them. The basement stairs out back here have gates on them to prevent kids from going down as well. We need a solution to the safety issue, not just a straight up no. There have been a continued string of break-ins happening and strange behavior throughout the entire municipality. I noticed a lot of it in Ward 4. This is getting out of hand and something needs to be done about this. I'll be here afterwards to talk more about the specifics about what has happened to me personally and other members in Ward 4 afterwards. I'd also like to continue on with what Wayne Avery said at the last meeting. We need more transparency here, guys. The special meeting of council held earlier this month, the agenda never got posted online. I look at that to see if I need to take time off work, I need to arrange child's care, or if I can simply just follow up and watch the meeting online. The meeting for tonight, the agenda didn't get posted until sometime lunch or early afternoon yesterday. It's usually always Monday morning at some point before lunch. The municipality should take a good look at St. Andrews and what they do there. Having their meetings open to Zoom so members of the community can ask questions and do statements online if they're not able to attend is an amazing opportunity. What else is there? We need to take a look at what Wayne's suggesting and allowing question and answer feedback. If one person has that question, you can bet a dozen more does as well. And it's easier this to get it all out there instead of answering everybody individually. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Anybody else has the opportunity to speak at this point? Going once, Karen, you didn't disappoint. Thank you.
Karen Kernigan from St. George. I noticed on Facebook that is there a new daycare being opened up in Lake Etopia? I know you can't answer me, but I just noticed that there's a new building going up in Lake Etopia, and I know we're working with the YMCA, but this seems to be taking forever with the YMCA and cost and things, and so I guess I'm just asking, is this new facility able to handle what we're looking for here with the YMCA? I'm just asking that question. And then I'm probably overstepping my bounds, but I'm a person that likes to treat everybody fair and equal. And I've spoke about this before, and it came to my attention that I think what I was, if I'm understanding this right, is 120 Mount Pleasant Road, is that the farm on the hill? And if it is, I understand that they're asking to put 2 houses on that piece of ground. And maybe the rules are different because I think it's under Fundy Bay, but the property between that farm and Raymond Hall's house, that couldn't get rezoned for a couple of housing lots. So I'm just wondering if it's just the difference between Fundy Bay and St. George. But I mean, I'm just saying that I believe in anything being developed, but I think we should be fair. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you very much, Karen, for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. You still got 2 minutes and 50 seconds. No. If not, anybody else? Once, twice, 3 times. Okay, at this point, I'm going to go to statements by members of council. I'm going to go first. I have 2 or 3 of them. Today, council received this email, and I'd like to read it out because it's good news for the community, and I think the whole community should hear it. This comes from the St. George Curling Club. We wanted to let you know that we have now received an official confirmation from Eric Dubé, our project executive for RDC, that we have been successful in being approved for a grant of $52,000 based on a budget of $130,000 to replace the existing cooling tower. We have the new condenser ordered with an anticipated install at the start of September 22nd. Getting this installed is a huge step forward for us, as it will now allow us to look at all the things that we need to get done that we weren't able to do until we had this behind us. I want to thank you so much for your help and support in getting us to this point. This email went to myself and our MLA, Ian Lee. So that was good news for the Curling Club. Just want to say one of the driving forces behind the Mariners Music Festival, which was anybody went to it, was very successful, a great weekend. I'm aware that, anyway, I want to say a big shout out to Ann Dewar. I'm aware that she had a dedicated team of volunteers who contributed to this. It was a week-long celebration. But it is Ann who I consistently saw. She was always visible, putting up signs early in the morning. Monday morning, she was out on the highway putting signs up and taking a chance with traffic, and she was just a go-getter. She was ensuring tasks are completed and verifying that all the details were covered. All this for the benefit of the Mariners Alumni Association, but also the community of Eastern Charlotte, because it brought a lot of people back home to celebrate, and a lot of people into the area. And I have to thank her and all her volunteers. It was a huge success, as I said, and Ann was a true inspiration in making this all come off. It's not easy. It's not easy doing one night thing, but a whole week was quite phenomenal. At this point, I just want one last thing I want to ask. Don't get mad at me. Tonight, I'm going to ask council to do 2 things. If I know it's not on the agenda tonight, nor do I expect you to do anything with it tonight, but probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks, is something to think about. Number 1, I'd like for you to cease any further actions related to the decision of Eastern Charlotte becoming a town. Number 2, request that the province add to our next May's election ballot the plebiscite question, yes or no, to town designation for Eastern Charlotte. This will accomplish two things. Number one, it will remove this critical decision from this council. And two, this decision will uphold the democratic principles by granting all residents a voice in shaping the future of our community. It would empower residents with a voice. I think give them a voice is the correct approach, especially considering that the province mandated amalgamation on our region without granting residents a choice in that decision. We can learn from the province's mistake on that big issue. Amalgamation was forced down our throats. The newly elected council would then be empowered to act on the results of the plebiscite vote. This is something I'd like council just to consider over the next few weeks, and it's something we would have to ask the province ahead of time to add it to the next municipal election vote, and it would give the council time to get all the details over the next 6 months or so to get the details. If anybody had questions on being a town or a rural area, it gives everybody the opportunity to vote on it. I think that's a good way of doing this at this point. So that's what I'm asking council to do, and I'll say it again, to cease any further action on becoming a town, and to asking the province of New Brunswick to add the question to the next election, and keep the question simple: yes or no to becoming a town. And I think if you keep the question simple, it doesn't mix it up, it doesn't confuse people, and it makes you have a simple question, it makes it a lot easier. I'll go to the deputy mayor at this point.
Two things. Thanks everybody for coming out on this nice evening, and having spoken with our trails coordinator for Quad MB today, he confirmed that all managed trails on municipal and provincial highways, which we have hubs for, are also closed. Because you cannot use these trails without accessing woods which are closed, so all managed trails are closed. Thank you.
Councillor Thompson. Okay. Thank you. There's the mayor of Penfield. Okay, thank you. Councillor Dedorakis.
Yeah. If Your Worship, if you could send council in writing what you just shared with us,
absolutely,
so we understand.
Yep.
I think democracy is a good thing, and that's something that we should really be pushing.
It's something I ask you to ponder over the next, because I don't expect anybody to make a decision tonight, because number one, it's not on the agenda, and number two, I think it's something that you should think about, and this whole issue probably needs extra thought, but it gives everybody a chance over the next few months to get all the information out so people can make a decision, and instead of us making that decision, the next council will make that decision based on the vote.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of holes in the information that we're given, and we're expected to make decisions. So, it's only right that everyone has that information in front of them, and we, get opinions from our neighbors and to let us know what they think. So that's the right thing to do. So I'm looking forward to that email. Karen Kernigan, you mentioned about the childcare. You were asking if by having the new childcare building that's being built in Utopia, how that impacts us. And the best way to say this is that we are living in a major desert. There is not enough childcare in our area. It's especially hard for newcomers and for people, I'm gonna just bring it for myself, who doesn't have legacy family, come from a legacy family, if that makes sense, and doesn't have a lot of family to watch my kids. And I know some people do feel comfortable with, Susie Q watching their child at their home, maybe in their basement, but that's not something that I feel comfortable with. So having a safe space, an actual childcare facility, is very much needed in our area. And I guarantee you, once that building is built in Utopia and then ours is built, they're both going to be filled. Yeah, and I think in terms of when we think about economic development, childcare is absolutely a part of the equation. Workers need a place to send their kids while they go to work, right? So there's that, and it's a need. Just trying to think of some other things. I think that's all I have, actually. I don't really have anything prepared for this evening. Oh, and Matthew Hall, you mentioned about crime in your area. And that's something that I'm hearing a lot from residents. And, you know, I think some people have the tendency of blaming the RCMP, but the RCMP, I think that's they're just used as a scapegoat. I think the issue is far more complex. I know that the federal government, they put out it was like a forecast risk assessment study, and you see this trend, like communities there's more crime, and you see this relationship with, you know, there's more and more economic disparity amongst each other. There's growing mental health issues. There's all sorts of different things that are coming to the mix. So I don't know. I think that maybe we may have to have this conversation that we have to put more resources into policing, or maybe eventually, you know, with upper levels of government, like the federal government, they have to really reevaluate the current laws. So that's all I have to say.
I'm going to go to Councilor McQuarrie.
What have I got to say? Well, the boil order's still on in Blacks for that small area.
For the small area, that's correct, yeah.
It's all fixed up, but the boil order's still on.
Yeah, in that small area, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Other than that, that's about it, I guess.
Councilor Lee. Councilor McKay, you hold the same name as the mayor of Penfield here to me.
Thank you all for coming. So, Matthew, I agree with everything you said. I would like to actually chat with you after the meeting. And Karen, I will chat with you after the meeting. But yes, thank you all for coming. And from what the mayor said about postponing this whole thing to becoming a town, I've always been opposed to that. I haven't made any bones about it. I've been waiting to see what the benefits were going to be and what the drawbacks were going to be, but I didn't really see a whole lot of benefits, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But I agree. I think it's good to postpone it. That's why it was postponed, almost 3 months ago. So I don't know how any of council feels about it.
Do you feel it's a good plebiscite question? Is a good?
I think it's a good question. I think people need to have some input. I think people need to have input on a lot of decisions that are made, and I don't think they are. So, I mean, I'm all about transparency and letting people know what's going on. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Thanks, everybody.
I just want to make one statement about the RCMP. The RCMP have stepped it up as of late. You may not see them all the time, but they are out there. I've asked them. We've had an uptick in some crime, and especially in Ward 4, which is the Blacks Harbor Penfield area. I've asked for extra policing, and we've had it. They've had at least 2 officers dedicated for the Penfield Blacks Harbor area. They can't be in all places at all times, but here's what I tell people right now. I hope you're listening. Don't cry the next day there's somebody was on your property and you didn't call the police. Call 911. Every time somebody's on your property or something's going on, say if you see anything, call 911. Every call gets logged, and the RCMP have to come to that call. The other night, there was a person on the Deadman's at the other end of where I live, the other end of Deadman's, and the police were there really quick. She called me up. She had somebody trying to get in her house around 2 o'clock in the morning. Their son chased them away with a hockey stick, and she let me know that the RCMP, 2 officers showed up there in relatively quick time to her house. So the RCMP are out there. In fact, one night they spent probably an hour and a half just sitting by my place where the community gardens were. I had to bring the dogs in because the dogs kept barking at them. But they are out there and they're doing their best, and they are taking this very seriously. But you've got to call. Don't get up the next morning and expect them to know. Because if I call the sergeant, he's going to look at the calls. Well, John, we didn't get any calls in that area, so I don't know what the problem is. Right? So you've got to call. I don't care if you have to call 20 times, 30 times during the week. Call 911 every time, and they will respond. If they don't respond, then you let me know, and I'll make sure I have a call to the sergeant the next day. But log if you have enough time, log the time you called them and how long it took for the RCMP to get there, because I like to know that as well too, because I think it's very important. I take this very seriously, especially there's people I know are very close to me in the area where I live, and there's one gentleman that they've kind of targeted. He's in his 70s, and it makes me sick to my stomach to see this happen. So please call 911 every time you see something happen. At this point, the next date of the next meeting of council is September the 17th, 7 o'clock here at Macadavic Place, and I'll entertain
John,
a motion for adjournment.
Can I say one thing first?
Oh, sorry, yeah, go
I,
ahead.
no, I think it's a great idea too with letting this go to a vote, but do we need to rescind the motion that we made a year ago to move from municipality to a town?
Yeah, I think, yeah, that would be something we would look at. I don't want to rush this tonight because
Well,
I sprung it on council tonight, and but I'm glad
I
I'm here.
think
I'm hearing positive things.
Well, I think everybody at this table knows right now what they pretty much want to do. If you want the motion tonight, we can do it. If that'll speed things up for you.
Well, I run the meeting, I guess. That is my take on it. But I didn't want to rush things. Councilor Dedorakis, did you? I want to make sure everybody's comfortable with that. That's all.
My only objection is that I don't quite understand what your worship said. I understood you said plebiscite. I think you understood also to pause the decision-making of becoming a town. Is that what you said?
Yeah, cease any further action related to the decision of Eastern Charlotte becoming a town, number one. Number two, request that the province add to next meeting, because you have to do this in quite a ways ahead of time to add to the next election ballot, the plebiscite question, yes or no to town designation for Eastern Charlotte. Simple question. Don't make it complicated so people don't know what they're voting for before they go. You could change the question anytime you want between now and then, but that was my thinking, just to hand this over to the people and let them decide, and it gives the municipality of Eastern Charlotte to get all the correct information out there. Basically, I think in politics you call that a white paper. You put it out and get all the information. I think
in order to pause, we have to rescind that motion. Otherwise, it's still going through as a motion we approved and sent to the government to do. So.
And I think in order to do that, I think we have to have a unanimous decision by council to rescind the
yeah, well, we can put the motion on the floor and council can.
Councilor Lee. I can't, I have to do this correctly. but I appreciate it. Thank you. But, yeah.
I move that we rescind the motion to have the municipality changed to a town.
Okay, that's the motion.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty simple.
Okay, that's pretty simple. I need a seconder for that. Councilor Thompson. Question or comment? Councilor Dedorakis, ladies first.
Sure.
Deputy Mayor.
I will support the motion, but my concern is that we still haven't gotten any information, any updates on the actual differences between town, village, and a rural community. We're still waiting for that information. So I am in favor of this motion just because of all these unknowns. But in the meantime, we need to get that information to make a decision.
Yeah. And that's why I thought if we stop it now, if you put it onto the next ballot, that gives lots of time between now and then to get all the information out there correctly, and for people to get, if you're on, I'm not going to say, you could be on one side or the other, it doesn't matter to me, I really don't care at the end of the day, but the thing is, it gives chance for people to go out there and get the information out to all the people, and so they can make a educated decision, come vote. And at the same time, it gets more people out to vote too. It gets more people to vote.
Yeah, I'm just saying that this should have been done from the beginning, though, right? Because we're now how many years as Eastern Charlotte? So this should have been done at the beginning. But yeah, I'm going to support the motion. Councilor Lee.
Deputy Mayor.
Just a clarification question, I guess, for Jason or Chris. You said it had to be unanimous?
I believe it has to be
Does
unanimous.
that count with
In
two?
order to rescind a former motion, it has to be unanimous.
Does that count with two members not here tonight?
It's unanimous of who's here tonight.
In attendance, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't bring this forward to do this tonight because I don't want anybody to think I did this because councilors weren't here. So,
But all we're voting on right now is rescinding the former motion.
That's correct. That's right.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions or comments? Councilor Lee, you're first.
And that's all I want to do. I'm not saying we do or we don't. I'm really not in favor of it, but that's not for me to say at this point. But this will give everybody time to think about it, and then that'll give you the authorization to go to the government and say, pause this right now, because if you don't, they're still working on it.
Yep.
Uh,
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So any other questions or comments of council? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Now I need you to raise your hand. That way I'm clear on the vote. So I need a hands up. Okay, you're definitely unanimous tonight. Okay. The next part of that, did you want to wait to next month to do the second part of that, or to ask? I'll read it out again because it is all new and I didn't have it in front of you. I'm sorry, I didn't realize council was interested in getting it done so quick. Request of the province add to the next May's election ballot the plebiscite question, yes or no, to town designation for Eastern Charlotte.
Where that wasn't on the agenda, I think we should wait.
I got no problem. Yep, good, that's what we'll wait. So at this point, I'm going to go back to a motion for adjournment tonight. Councilor McKay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. Thank you, guys.